History is the story of our ancestors. It includes stains and skeletons, the good, the bad, and the ugly. It has been said those who don't remember history are doomed to repeat it. For this reason, you can't erase the stains of the past. History is the story of our ancestors, but it's not the story of our future. 8 years into the 17th century, two blokes, named Smith and Helwys, split from the Anglicans to go to the Netherlands. We moved from one city to another. This is where Baptists started getting things in order. 30 years later, in 1638, we get particular Baptist in England. Next, we traveled across the pond to Rhode Island. It was the Lord's providence that American Baptists congregated here. This is all in the north, and we're from the south. Give it another 57 years. The First Baptist Church from the south is in Charleston. It's where it started, but we are far from done. In the city of brotherly love, Baptists first associated in 1707. In 1740, Whitefield preached in Charleston. 2 years later, Baptists had their first association. It was the first in the South and the whole nation. Sandy Creek Baptist Association was founded in 1758. It was the center of the movement of the Baptists who chose to separate. Leland and Madison are who we have to thank for the separation of church and state. At the end of the 18th century, John Taylor started the Second Great Awakening. The Baptists loved their associations. In 1814, they started the Triennial Conventions. In 1821, Virginian Baptists appointed Locke Carey as the first African-American missionary. He carried the gospel to the peoples of Liberia. His efforts would spread throughout all of Africa. Campbellites believe in just historical facts, so they negate the missions of Acts. This belief results in no repentance necessary, so the Baptists disfellowshipped them in 1830. 20 years before the Civil War ended, the Southern Baptist Convention was founded. Basil Manley Sr. is responsible for this and hordes of other things, such as the Foreign and Home Mission Boards. Martha Crawford was the first missionary from Alabama. In 1852, she and her husband left for China. Southern Baptist Theological Seminary was founded in 1895 by James P. Boyce. He wasn't the only one. Many others lent their voice. Civil War. War between the states. War of northern aggression. Whatever you call it, brother fought brother, and mother buried son. For 4 harrowing years, there was no peace around here. It ended with a declaration from the Emancipation Proclamation that indeed all men are created equal and free. It was the end of the institution of slavery. 1879. Toy dismissed from Southern Seminary due to his heretical views on scriptural infallibility. Annie Armstrong sought support for missionaries overseas through collection of money. In 1888, there was the first Lottie Moon Christmas offering. Alberto Diaz went to Cuba in 1890 as a missionary. During the Roaring Twenties, the Baptist Faith and Message was created. They also had the cooperative program adopted. In the mid-20th century, there were 2 Williams who made an impact on the Baptist family. A crusade was led in the City of Angels in 1949 by Billy Graham. In 1952, Dr. Bill Wallace was martyred in China. He's remembered as being a wonderful man. The 1960s was a crazy decade for the Southern Baptist. 1961 brought the Message of Genesis by Ralph Elliott. This book likened the Bible to Aesop's fables, full of moral truth. The leadership revolted, led a coup. Revising the Baptist Faith and Message in 1963, this led to 1969's growing controversy over Scripture's infallibility. The SBC fought back with scriptural landmines by electing a new president in 1979. This president wasn't from the neighborhood. Adrian Rogers did good. 1985. Dallas had the largest convention in history with 45,561. The first meeting of the Cooperative Baptist Fellowship was in 1991. There was a controversy in 1993 when R. Albert Mohler was appointed to the SBTS presidency. 130 years after the Civil War, a racial reconciliation statement was made by the SBC. 5 years later, the Baptist Faith and Message was revised to reassert inerrancy. We're almost at the end. Just one more and then we're done. We have to discuss the removal of Southwestern President Paige Patterson. It was discovered he mishandled a student's case 15 years prior. For this reason, in 2018, it was decided they had no choice but to fire. History is the story of our ancestors, but is not the story of our future. For this reason, you can't erase the stains of the past. It has been said those who don't remember history are doomed to repeat it. The good, the bad, and the ugly. It includes stains and skeletons. History is the story of our ancestors.